So GD05 is very close, and so I want to make a video going over some important rulings with some of the cards so that when you finally get them into your hands, you're making sure that you're playing with them correctly and also making sure that your opponent is playing them correctly. So let's go ahead and get right into it. We're going to go ahead and start with the Strike Freedom Gundam. So the Strike Freedom Gundam says to deploy, choose 1 to 2 of your units during this turn. When they destroy an enemy card with battle damage, draw 1. And then, so this is the part where we want to make the ruling as clear as possible. So in order to trigger this draw effect, all you need to do is destroy any enemy card with one of your units' battle damage. So this is going to not include breach or any destruction effects. It must swing into it with its attack. In addition, enemy card means any card that they own. This means a base, this means a shield area card, and this means a unit. So this effect is very easy to trigger. So this card is actually very, very strong because of that. And the next one is you may discard 2. You may, so that means you do not have to do this during pair attack. It's not required. And then if you do, choose 1 enemy unit with the lowest level and return to the bottom of its owner's deck. This means that if your opponent only has 1 unit on the field and it's level 8, level 9, it will be returned to the bottom of the deck if you decide to activate this effect. The next card I want to talk about is Waldfeld's Murasame, and this one is destroyed if you have an orb pilot in play, draw 1. And for this one specifically, it's if you have this one linked with Andrew Waldfeld, do you still get the draw when this gets destroyed? And the answer to that question is correct. Yes, you do get the draw because the card checks its last state when it activates this destroyed effect. So this is actually explained right here. If this unit is paired with an orb pilot, does this effect activate when it's destroyed, even if there's no other orb pilots on my field? And yes, since the destroyed effect checks the card's last state prior to leaving the field, the effect activates if the pilot was paired with this unit. And no, that doesn't have to be Andrew, it could be any orb pilot. The next quick one I want to go over is Hashmal. During your turn, when this unit destroys an enemy card with battle damage, deploy 1 Puma Calamity War unit token. This unit gains the same number of repair 1 as the number of Calamity unit tokens that you have in play. So this card, again, reads enemy card, so any enemy card being destroyed will trigger this effect. And you're going to see this going forward in Gundam card game a lot. Just pay attention to whether it says just general card, shield area card, or unit. And then that will be clear as to how to trigger these effects. The next card is the new Gundam, Breach 5. And then, when paired, you may choose 3 Londo Bell cards from your trash, exile them from the game, and then if you do, choose 1 enemy unit, begin a battle between this unit and it, and only perform the damage step. So this basically just immediately triggers a battle when you pair this card. This does not trigger any attack effects. So basically, this will also bypass any blocker steps and action steps and just goes directly into dealing damage to each other. Also, since it is dealing battle damage during this damage step, the Breach 5 does in fact trigger if you manage to destroy that unit that you choose with this when paired effect. And so if you also paired it with Admiral Ray, it gets its link effect. So that means you can swing a second time, and then now you would trigger any kind of attack effects if there are any, but New Gundam itself does not have any attacking effects, so it doesn't really matter in that case. The new Admiral Ray will also trigger its healing effect if it manages to destroy the enemy unit without being destroyed itself. Both times. Next up is the Gundam Caliborn. When one of your EX resources is exiled from the game, you may choose 1 of your units during this turn. When it receives enemy damage, reduce it by 3. And then on deploy, place 3 EX resources. In the Gundam card game, you might not know this because we don't really have this situation very often, but you're only allowed up to 15 total resources, and 5 of them being EX resources. So just so that you know, if you somehow are able to get 2 Caliborns off, you cannot go up to 16 EX resources. Your limit is indeed 15. And you can also choose to use your EX resources instead of your normal resources, so that way you can actually activate the effect of this card and reduce damage by 3. The next card here is Gundam Age 2 Normal SP version, and its effect reads, destroy, choose one Green Earth Federation pilot card from your trash, add it to your hand. If you do, discard one. So this card, when it's destroyed, and if it was paired with a pilot, you are indeed able to grab the pilot that was paired with this card from your trash. Master Gundam is the next one, and it reads, you may choose 2 special move command cards from your trash, exile from the game. If you do, deal 5 damage to the first card in your opponent's shield area. So basically what this card does is that when it attacks, you want to take a look at your opponent's shield area, and if there is a base there, then go ahead and deal 5 damage to that base. But if there's no base, then go ahead and deal 5 damage to that first shield card. So in essence, what this card can do is attack a unit and then damage a base, or attack a unit and destroy one shield area card, or attack the shield area and then hit the next card in the shield area. Also, do note that you cannot win off of this effect because it says that you will deal 5 damage to the first card in your opponent's shield area. So say that, you know, there is a base, but they have no shield cards left. If you were to attack into the base, you would deal 5 damage to the next card in your opponent's shield area, but there's no card there, so it doesn't actually deal any kind of damage. For Gaia Gundam, this one reads, when this unit destroys an enemy shield area card, so with battle damage as well. So right, when we looked at some other cards before, it just said enemy card, it didn't specify what type of card. But for Gaia Gundam, this is specifically a enemy shield area card. So this includes shields themselves and bases. So when it does deal battle damage to that and destroys them, then this effect will trigger. In addition, the deploy effect from this is completely free, so you do not have to pay the cost of the level 4 unit card that you are deploying with this effect. Next up here is the Gundam Exia Repair. When this unit deals battle damage to an enemy unit that is level 4 or lower with no paired pilot, destroy that enemy unit. So in order for this effect to activate, you actually do need to deal battle damage to the enemy. So for example, if your AP is reduced by a card like Unforeseen Incident, this card is no longer dealing battle damage, so it does not activate this card's Death Touch ability in order to destroy the enemy's unit. The next card, the Alpha Aziru, hopefully I am pronouncing that right. If I got that wrong, I apologize. But this card reads, when one of your units is destroyed by an effect, draw 1. And so this should be noted that this will only trigger upon destroy effects. So that means the effect has to specifically say, destroy this card. So there are red cards in this game that will deal damage to an effect in order to destroy them. This card will not trigger on those red card effects, for example, if they deal a certain amount of damage to them. It must specifically state destroy this unit or destroy this card. So prime examples in this set is obviously the Sazabi Total Annihilation, or if your opponent is playing Fatal Strike or Giant Killing. Next up is the Gundam Barbatos Lupus Attack. Choose one of your active Gjallarhorn units, rest it. If you do, draw 1. This unit gains high maneuver during this turn. So in order to get the high maneuver for this card, you do need to choose an active Gjallarhorn unit and rest it. If you cannot do that, you do not get any of the effects on this card. The next card is Gundam Death Scythe Hell, and this card has a fairly generic effect that several cards in this set actually have, and it reads, on the turn this unit is deployed, it may choose a rested enemy unit as its attack target and attack it. So in essence, it gives it a sort of pseudo rush effect. The one thing to note here is that it must choose a rested unit to attack. If your opponent has no rested units, it cannot choose it. If there is a card that allows another card to attack an active unit, this card cannot do that. So for example, in the FAQ here, it reads, if I activate GD03-105 Bridge Crew and choose this non-link unit, can it choose an active enemy unit with no paired pilot as its attack target and attack it on the turn it is deployed? And no, this unit can only attack with the effect if it chooses a rested enemy unit as its attack target. Next up here is Master Asia. So Burst. Add this card to your hand, and if there are 3 or more MF cards in your trash, you may deploy it as an AP3 HP3 unit instead. So please note that it does not say token, so this card actually just comes out onto the field as is, as a 3/3 unit. So that means any effects that say unit and not token will apply to Master Asia. And so as a unit, it is also a level 6. And also because it's a unit, you can pair other pilots onto this. So if you really wanted to, you could pair another Master Asia onto this if it was bursted, or you can pair a Domon onto this. So all of those are totally possible when this gets bursted as a unit. The next card here is Interwoven Blessings. First, place 1 EX resource. Main, choose 1 enemy player. Destroy the first 2 cards in that player's shield area. So the first 2 cards in the shield area can be either a base or 2 basic shield cards. It doesn't matter what it is. This card will completely eradicate a base and then 1 extra shield card. Or if there's no base, 2 shield cards. Next up here is Darkness Finger. Main action, choose 1 enemy unit, deal 2 damage to it. Then if you have a unit with Master Gundam in its card name, in play, draw 1. So for this card, in order to activate the draw, not only do you need to have a Master Gundam in play, but you also need to be able to deal 2 damage to a unit. So you cannot simply play this card, not target anything, and then get a draw. You must be able to target an enemy unit in order to play this card. The same thing goes for the Shining Finger card. You must be able to choose 1 enemy unit with 4 or less HP. It doesn't matter whether it is active or rested though, you just need to be able to choose an enemy unit that has 4 or less HP. So if there are no enemy units on your opponent's side of the field, or if none of them are below 4 HP, you cannot activate this card. So next up we have White Arc. During your turn, when you would rest a unit with a friendly League Militaires unit's effect, you may rest this base instead. So a situation that might arise is if you have a single V-Gundam in play, but you have no other League military unit in play, you cannot use this card's effect to activate V-Dash's ability. You must have the prerequisite unit on the field in order to use this base's ability. In addition, this only will replace the effect for 1 unit and not both units if a card requires 2. So for example, the newest Victory Gundam in this set requires 2 League military units to become rested in order to set as active, so White Arc can only replace 1 of those. Alright, well that about covers it for this video. Those are the main cards that I wanted to go through that have some rulings that might not be obvious, so hopefully this video helped you out, and if it did, definitely throw me a like, leave a comment down below what you think, and let me know if you're excited for GD05 and what deck you are planning to build. Until next time, I'll see you guys later.